Welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. If you're new here, thanks for clicking. And if you've been around a while, yeah, I didn't fall off the planet, I promise. But I have been gone for about, 14 months, 2 years. Life got busy. Work got busy. Motivation wandered off into the weeds. You know how it goes. Sometimes the bench just sits there, staring at you, judging you silently. Before anything else, I want to say thank you, seriously. The views, the subscriptions, the comments, even during my long disappearance, it means a lot and I don't take it lightly. And I'm genuinely grateful that you're here, and yeah, I'm really glad to be back. One of the big pitfalls for me was watching too many professional level modelers. You know the ones, flawless seams, perfect paint, weathering that looks like it came straight out of a museum display. All of it's incredible work, inspiring work, but also kind of paralyzing if you let it be. I know it was for me. It kept me from doing anything for lack of perfection. Somehow along the line I forgot that every model and every modeler has warts and blemishes, even the really good ones. I guess they just hide it better. And that's where I lost the plot for a while. Getting back into modeling isn't just about pumping out finished builds for the shelf or the algorithm, quite frankly. Modeling can be an end unto itself. Sitting down at the bench, cutting plastic, solving problems, primer and paint, making decisions, that is this hobby. The model is just the finished model is just the receipt. There's a real therapeutic value in taking a pile of parts and turning it into something with your own fingerprint on it. Your choices, your compromises, your fixes. Sometimes that'll do moments. It's creative problem solving, it's workflow, it's pre-planning, or realizing you should have pre-planned, and then figuring out how to recover, and honestly, that's where the fun is. So this channel isn't about perfection. That's never going to happen. It's about execution. It's about learning, adjusting, and putting your own spin on the final outcome. Even if it's not competition ready or Instagram perfect, sometimes, especially if it's not. If that sounds like your kind of modeling, well, I think you're in the right place. I'm back at the bench, I'm building again, and I'm taking the pressure off. Let's get sloppy, folks. Let's get building. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. Welcome back to the show. Today we're kicking off, I wouldn't call it a buddy build, but more of a comparison. Maybe they're buddies on the shelf beside each other. It's been on my list for a while, and it's the Italeri, however you say that, X-47B in 1/72nd scale versus the Freedom Model Kit's U.S. Navy UCAS X-47B in 1/48 scale. Same aircraft, two different manufacturers and two different scales, and very likely two very different interpretations of what should be a simple build, but who knows. And on paper this thing does check all the boxes for easy mode. No cockpit, no canopy to tape off, no pilot to paint, no ejection seats to overthink. The markings are straightforward, and the color scheme is classic modern Navy stealth. Variations of gray that all look the same until you paint them slightly wrong. So we all know how that goes. In theory, this should be one of those relaxing, confidence boosting builds, which means they'll probably find new and exciting ways to fight me and fight me back here at this point. Before we even touch plastic though, it's worth remembering what the X-47B actually represents. This was and is a genuinely historic aircraft. A carrier-based, unmanned combat air system demonstrator that proved autonomous operations at sea were not science fiction. Although I've seen some of the footage, it looks a little bit science fiction-y to me. First flights in the late 2000s, carrier launches and arrested landings in the early 2010s. This thing quietly changed naval aviation forever. No flashy dogfights, no Top Gun moments, no stealth moments, no Eddie, no UCAS, just technology doing something that had never been done before. And I think, that's something that just astounds me of where science has taken us and technology takes us. The experimental nature is baked into both of these kits. The Italeri 172 kit comes from a time when the X-47B was still new. It was mysterious and evolving. It was secret, and it was designed to be accessible. A relatively simple parts breakdown, straightforward engineering, and something you could realistically finish without losing your sanity, although that's still yet to be proven. It's very much a product of its era, which I think is like the early 2005, 2010 time frame. The Freedom Model Kit's 148 version is a more modern take. Bigger scale, more surface detail, more presence on the shelf, and clearly aimed at builders who want to explore the panel lines, texture, and subtle shaping on a flying wing that doesn't give you many visual landmarks to hide behind. I'm really actually looking forward to the Italeri version, but we'll see how the 148 Freedom Model Kits goes. Part of this build, though, is about exploration. How do these kits go together? Where did the designer simplify things? Where did they get ambitious? And I think we're going to find that out with the Freedom Models kits. And how does scale change the entire experience with the subject itself is basically one big smooth triangle. And I think we're going to see that more and more with like the new F-47 that they're looking at. That's just one big triangle. The J-36 out of China, one big triangle. This isn't about crowning a winner. It's about understanding the kits and the history behind them and seeing how easy builds really stack up once the glue comes out. And I think for me it's even before that. It's how well did I get the parts washed up in the parts bin washer. Anyway, so let's clear the bench, lower your expectations just enough, and let's see where this goes. Let's get sloppy, let's build something. All right, hey everybody, welcome to the bench. Glad to have you here, excited to have you here. I went through the introduction there of the two kits that we're going to do, and we're going to meet them here real quickly from the box perspective. This is the X-47B, the unmanned combat aircraft system in 1/72nd scale from Italeri. In essence, it's a pretty straightforward box. Looks like it's going to be about 16 centimeters long, 26 centimeters wide. It's got decals for 3 versions, and it's actually pretty nice inside. I have already opened the kit here, and it does have a really nice set of decals, a little thick. We'll manage those, and it's got, like I said, 3 different versions. You got the Hawk, you got this Space Force looking deal, and then the bat wings here, that kind of thing, with the registries and so forth. Printed by Zechinichi Bucanesco. That's as close as I'm going to get. Those are the decals, one sheet there. One trifold sheet of instructions. Pretty straightforward. This is a 6-part build with then the color instructions as we go. First part is part sprues. There's no cockpit, there's no canopy, a little bit of pre-painting on some of this stuff, and then of course post-painting. It's only got 2 bombs that go into the bomb bays and some landing gear. I am going to do it landing gear, and I'm going to do it folded wings up. And you can see here you've got the landing bay doors, the bomb bay doors, landing gear. These are the wings, and then in the wings you can see here that you can do those either as a closed alternative or an open alternative. And it shows you how to do those. Closed view. It's actually pretty amazing. It really folds up for space on the carrier. And then it's got your 3 different variations here, like I said, 62, 61, 38 and 502, 503, I think, and 501 perhaps, not quite sure. But very, very nice. It's got nice decals, and we're going to be excited about doing that. And the parts themselves, it only comes in 2 sprues. Really, it's quite nice. It's got nice plastic. I don't see a lot of sink marks on this. I do think that the detail on the inside is very much rudimentary, but you know, for my purposes, I'd be fine with that. Lots of white paint on the landing gear, white paint on the internal pieces here, and then the rest is just the gray. The doors are all going to be interesting, like here and here, around this edge. I don't know if I got a pointer or not. Around this edge here, you're going to find that that's a red paint so that the guys don't hit their heads on them when they're down. You got your 2 bombs there, one on this side, one on that side, and then I think the bomb carriers are here and here, and landing gear, and I don't know what that is, but that's will be soon to be found out. And again, this is the bottom here, really quite nice in the triangular section. Top of the top sprue, you've got the top of the ship, more of the weapons bay doors here. Here's for your folded, and then for your closed or down wings. Here's the intakes for the engine, and additional wings here, wing tops and wing bottoms. Fairly straightforward. I don't know what these are. Oh, I think those go in here somewhere, something like that. That there's some boxes or that look like they go in there. A few little tiny antennas right through here, and then this is your back exhaust. We'll do that in color. So essentially, very much straightforward for the Italeri kit, and I'm really excited about doing this small 1/72 scale kit. And we've already washed those parts, and we're off and running. So that's the Italeri 1/72. Now, this is the Freedom Models 1/48 scale. Shows the 2 bombs here. I have not even looked at this yet, so this is almost the first opening here. It is a nice box, and I think this is the first model that they ever did. Here on the side, you can see wings folded or wings open. Shows you how that's done with the detail in the side. It shows you the weapons bays, that red we talked about right there, and then the landing gear. It's got a little piece of photo etch, and then the decals are in there at the same time. And let's open this up. And first thing you see here is that there is a U-47B operations staff, 1 staff member, 1 set, 1 figure. Looks like he's standing there, so we'll see if I do anything with that or keep that for another issue. Much thicker build box here, much thicker on the instructions from Freedom Model Kits, and you've got more sprues here. You can see top and bottom. This is the intake. I think these are the wings, more of the intake there. The bombs and landing gear, or bombs and wheels, and then landing gear, and then a bunch of teeny small tiny little parts. So this is definitely more parts. Decal, and then the photo etch detail. Same thing, you go through the assembly and nose landing gear, assembly of main landing gear, the 2 of those that you deal with on that piece. Very thick paper. This is nice, and color print. Air brake closing or air brake opening, you can do either one. I'm going to do the air brake closing because I want to kind of match these 2 between the Italeri and the Freedom Models. Right wing assembly follows the same thing. Air intake installation, if you'll notice, there was no options for this in the Italeri brand, but you've got your fan and the condenser on top of it, so you've got that'll fit in here. Looks like some really small parts here on E38. Fuselage assembly, this locks down into it. I know that this piece right here, this triangular piece, fits into the triangular piece at the top, so there'll be some pre-painting there, and you know, however this goes together. And then you've got that covers assemblies on some of the landing bay doors and things like that. Coming around to 5.4, lower fuselage parts installation. So you've got the landing gear, little tiny parts, some antennas that go in. Not even sure what this means yet, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Weapons bay opening, and then you've got steps 6.1 through 6.3, and some options there. So just some time to go through this. This shows different options here: normal, arrestor hook posed down or posed up. I think I might pose it down just for a little bit of variety. Also very cool, was not an option in the Italeri kit, and you can see the diagram there. Assembly of the weapons, you got your 2 bombs. Assembly of the weapon bay covers. So you do have all these tiny little parts, 6 on this one, 6 on the other one, and you have to glue those in, and I'll be sure to glue those in before I even start painting, because gluing stuff to painted surfaces, as we know, is a super challenge. Again, the assembly of the weapons bay shows you the front view here of how everything goes in, with the 2 bombs going into their bomb bays, and then the bomb bay doors fitting over those, if you will. So that's assembly instruction 6. 7.1 is the upper fuselage parts and wings in flight installation. So if you want to have them folded out, you've got that capability. Again, small antennas. I'm not sure what all this stuff is, but there's some of that. If you want to do the wing parts stowed, which is what I'm going to do, you can see here that there's a lot of little parts that go on that folded piece. And then actually some photo etch that also goes on there. So that'll be interesting to put all that together. You can see that clips in. This is going to provide a lot of really nice detail on those wing folded up tips when they get there. Wing installation of stowed continued, as you've got the parts that are hanging out, and then you've got the installation of the actual wings on them, and it kind of gives you a diagram of what that's going to look like and angle of reference for wing stowed mode. Here are the painting and marking guide for this. I see, it looks like 3 or 4 different types of, oh, there's the Falcon, here's the Batwing. So this also has 3 marking guides that you could do. So you've got 501, 502, and I don't know if you can do a 503 or not, but 501, 502 with the registry marks. You can see the red here around those doors all below. This is really nice. It looks like some sort of decaling here on the nose landing gear cover. And then you can see all the markings and stenciling that goes in. Now, I am not an extensive real-world modeler on real-world pieces because I don't do them well, but I thought this looked easy enough. We'll give this a shot. And it does give you your paint reference list: white, tire black, silver, semi-flat black, stainless, super iron. I don't know what character white is, but these are Mr. Color, Creos Mr. Color, and then steel. So that's that painting reference for there internally, and then the external is white, tire black, flat white, semi-gloss, olive drab for the GBU 32s, metallic steel, clear red, stainless, super iron, clear green, semi-gloss gray, light ghost gray, gloss red, extra dark sea gray. So there are some colors for that, and then here's the assembly tools for this as we go along. Here is the decals. I'm not going to open that up, and the photo etch, because this will be a bit before I get to this one, but that is the instructions. And then for the sprues, let's start down here. On the sprues, you've got 2 sprues per bag, and in essence, very nice. Here's all those tiny little parts I was talking about, all the landing gear parts, all the little pitot tubes. Here's all these tiny little parts and antennas and little tiny stuff. That'll be a challenge for me with my eyes and club fingers. Here are landing gear pieces. Here's like the tail arrestor hook, and I'm not sure where that's at, but it's part of this in here somewhere. More landing gear, and I'm not sure what that is. And then here are your intakes. Looks like 3 different types. Wheels. Here's your wings folded, wings up, or wings down type. Here are the bombs, tires. Here's your landing hook, and some of those pieces that go with that. So that is the tiny parts of the Freedom Models kit. We'll go to the wings and the intake next. All right. Hey, this looks really nice. Really, really nice. Great detail. No sink marks. A little bit of discoloration here, but you know, once you get paint primer on that, you'll be fine. Really nice detail here on this intake. Or actually, this is probably the this is the exhaust. Here's the intake. But nice wings. Again, little tiny parts again. Few injector pins, but those won't be visible. That you might want to deal with a little bit. Same thing here, they won't be visible, but those are the wings. Nice detail. Looks like they may even be posable. So that is the wing for one sprue, and then here is additional wings pieces along with all of the covers for some of the different landing gear, some of the different pieces on that. Again, really nice, little tiny detail here. Should be very exciting to put that together. Sprues are lettered and numbered correctly. So that is the wings and the intakes. So let's take a look at let's take a look at the beautiful money shot here. All right. This has got amazingly nice detail here. It's got some of that stealth mode, you know, where it's got the triangular, you know, cutting up some of the pieces. It's got nice little rivet line details there. Again, it's got a discoloration here, and I think that's just from the injection molding, but once you get primer on that, same thing here, you'll never see that. I'm not seeing any sink marks. Little bit of tiny texture on this, but I don't think it's anything you can't play with. That is something that is, I guess it's gone now, but it was actually adhered to it right there, so we'll have to give a bit of a sand on that. Really nice detail throughout, and then here's again one more of your weapons bay covers on that. So that's the bottom. This is where the tail arrestor hook is going to go, and then on the top again you've got one more of the weapons bay doors, and then here you've got really, again, nice detail. You can see the curved lines. Let's see if we can see that. You can see the curved lines right through here, or I'm sorry, the triangular lines through there. Rivet detail. Nice little detail throughout. That intake will be interesting to do. And then I think this might be exhaust over here. There's only one. It's only on the one side. I think that's for a reason for reducing the thermal imaging coming off of this. And of course your exhaust will be right there. Rather large gates on these, injection gates. So that's going to be something that we're going to be really careful with and take those off quite nicely. So all in all, really super exciting looking kit, and much more detail than the Italeri, which I suspected between the difference in scales of 172 versus 148. So we'll have to see how that comes together. We are going to do the Italeri first, and I'm going to say Italeri and other enunciations of that throughout the build. That will offend every Italian in the known universe, but I just don't have it beyond that. So that's going to wrap up the introduction. Welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be here, and we'll see how this build goes. We'll try to get through it relatively quickly and put some pieces together, put some glue to plastic, and then paint to plastic, and finally some decals. So thanks for coming along. Welcome to the Sloppy Modeler's revitalization, if you will. Welcome to the return, and come along with me and get ready to build something. Thank you so much. So that's the plan for the X-47B. 2 kits, 2 scales, and one very smooth, very great aircraft that offers absolutely no place to hide mistakes. What could possibly go wrong? I appreciate you taking the time to stop by and hang out at the bench with me. There are a lot of ways to spend a few minutes online, and the fact that you chose to spend them watching someone glue together an unmanned flying triangle doesn't go unnoticed. This build isn't about speed, perfection, or proving anything. It's about seeing how these kits behave once the box is open and the instructions are interpreted optimistically, and the paint starts revealing decisions we probably should have thought through earlier. There will be problem solving, some mild head scratching, and most certainly a moment where I say, well, we're committed now. I hope you decide to stick around, and I hope you'll follow along for the process, the planning, the adjustments, and the small victories that compromises that somehow still add up to a finished model. That's the part of the hobby that I enjoy the most, and it's the part that I'm glad to share. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. And I hope you'll keep me company as this build unfolds, no pun intended, one careful step and one questionable decision at a time. I'll see you back at the bench.